Hi, this is Kabir Khan and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
Well, it's wonderful to have Kabir Khan with us. He's coming up with something really unique for Hotstar. It is Roar of the Lion. We'll talk about that and much more. Pleasure having you back, sir, on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you.
And if you can please tell us something about Roar of the Lion. What exactly is it all about?
Well, Roar of the Lion is about a story about which actually few people know what happened in the 2 years when CSK was banned. And it's been really a great privilege to be able to, do it along with Dhoni, be able to spend time with him, get the story from him, and bring to the audiences this amazing story of the most successful IPL franchise, which got banned for 2 years under the allegations of match fixing, and then how they came out of that ban and then went on to again win the IPL. So it's an amazing story of human triumph. It's an amazing emotional journey of the players who are involved in the team, of the fans. So it's really a true blue behind the scenes show.
So what exactly are you doing in that?
So I am the executive producer. So I'm the sort of creative supervisor. I supervise all the structuring, the shooting, all the sort of creative inputs that go into making of a show.
And who all are there in the team, the creative team?
There's Kausar Munir, who's writing for us. Amir Rizvi is the hands-on director who's putting it together. Amir has been an associate of mine. Amir and Amardeep, they've been associates of mine right from the days of documentaries, then on to Kabul Express,
Right.
and ever since then they've been doing documentaries. So they're the ones who are putting it all together.
So it's a very interesting medium, a digital platform. I think they're having so much, I think, freedom, and there's so much that one can do. Do you find it different from maybe the bigger platform that you have, the big screen platform that you have?
They're completely two different dynamics. I think there are certain stories that lend themselves better to web series. Certain stories that lend themselves better to an unscripted web series like Roar of the Lion. Roar of the Lion is a non-fiction, unscripted show, which is better known as documentaries, versus a feature film, which is a completely scripted, a very logistics heavy. They're two completely different journeys. I would feel they have a different grammar, they have a different idiom, and I just feel there are certain stories that lend themselves better to a web platform, and certain stories that lend themselves to a feature.
I think first love has been documentaries.
Yes.
In a way, you are rediscovering that.
Yes, actually, I must be very thankful to Hotstar to get me back to documentaries after a long time. Documentaries always have a certain thrill, and whenever I'm sort of working on something, it gives me a high, because there's something about discovering story as it goes, right? You can only enter a documentary with a certain structure in your mind, but ultimately things will not play out necessarily according to what you've thought, and that's the charm of documentary storytelling. You're making it with the material that's going to unfold in front of your camera as you're shooting it. It's not according to a script. And a story like this, the Roar of the Lion, is something where you have the real protagonist talking about it. It's not an actor playing M.S.Dhoni. We have M.S.Dhoni, the man himself, telling us the story, and that's altogether a different thrill for a storyteller, and will be a huge thrill for the audience to hear the story from the man's mouth.
We've been talking for many years now, and if you remember, I've also asked you that would you want your documentaries maybe to be coming across on a bigger platform?
Yes.
Do you think it's possible?
Yes, I think now it's definitely possible. I think there's a great excitement for documentaries. There's a great excitement for all kinds of formats.
Right,
There's
right.
not restricted to now just fiction storytelling that used to be a few years ago. And I would love to do that. Some of my documentaries are being converted into actually scripted works also, like The Forgotten Army for Amazon is something
Right,
which
Subhash
comes.
Chandra Bose.
So yeah, it's actually not really Subhash Chandra Bose, and that's the distinction that I'd like to make. It's a story of the army. I think a lot of work has been done on Netaji, but not much has been done on the army. That was the INA, the 55,000 men and women who fought for independence. So that series is actually about them. And here's the documentary, Roar of the Lion, on Hotstar. And there's a great excitement. See, ultimately, I think what is important is that we need to stop now looking at them as documentaries versus scripted versus fiction. It's drama. And it can be really riveting drama in a documentary format. It can be really riveting drama in a scripted format.
Right.
And the audience, I don't think, is going to approach them with a different mindset. They just want to sit and be engaged and entertained. And you can engage and entertain them with a documentary format, or you can engage and entertain them with a scripted format. So I think we need to also, in our mind, just stop I think putting the classifications, we just go with that we are telling you a dramatic story, and this is the best format that we feel is for that story.
Maybe Amir has experimented that with Rubaru Roshni.
Yes,
That can
absolutely.
be in that bracket. Coming to Road of the Line, so can there be some disclosures that can become the headlines all across the country? Because cricket is something which is
yes.
everyone finds it fascinating.
Well, I mean, it is about a very contentious time. It is about a very turbulent time in the life of IPL, in the life of cricket in this country. Cricket, as we know, is religion in this country. It was a disturbing time. It was a time where lots of questions were raised. Some of the players decided not to talk about it at that point in time. So in that sense, you will hear for the first time ever people talking about what they went through, what are the kind of allegations that were thrown on them, how they coped with that and how they came out of that, and went on to, again recapture the glory of IPL.
So while you're just interacting with the Dhoni, has it helped you in any way in terms of researching for 83 by any chance?
In a strange, tangential way, yes, because 83 is also the story of people who were up against all odds and went on to, win the World Cup. And Dhoni is, of course, again, one of the icons of cricket. So there is a certain similarity, I would say, in just the attitude that I think a sports icon has towards life. And I see that. I see that similarity between, when I speak to Kapil Dev, when I speak to Dhoni. There's just a different way they look at things, and I think that's what makes them that successful. So yes, in a strange way, interacting with Dhoni also helps me in 83.
Right. All right. So every single character who's coming out right now is making news. Be it Madan Lal, be it Sunil Gavaskar. Are you happy with the excitement? The way people are absolutely.
Of course. I mean, I am happy with it because at the end of the day, who doesn't want excitement around their project? I knew there would be a lot of excitement because we are really dealing with an event that is iconic in not only our sports history, in history. I mean, that's the first international achievement for India post-independence. It put us on the map. You speak to the diaspora, especially those in England, they tell you that, they just got an identity after that. So for me, 83 is actually more of more the story of a coming of age of a country than just a cricket team.
Definitely. 85 we won in Australia after that, and that was the starting point in many ways. The question that a lot of people will be having is that knock of Kapil Dev, 175
that's
against Zimbabwe, because it doesn't have any documented proof as far as the television. How will you approach that?
That's actually the most challenging and also the most exciting. Most exciting because we can, take certain creative liberties because there's no documentation. The most challenging because I do want to stay true to exactly the way it happened, because what happened in reality is far more exciting than I guess what we can even imagine. And the way I'm dealing with it is I spend a lot of time in England. The prep of 83 has been going on for more than a year. I've spent many a days in Tunbridge Wells. I invited people who were witnesses to that historic innings. Members of the county club over there. Called them, spoke with them, got detailed accounts of what was happening around them, spoke to the players, the ones on the pitch, off the pitch, spoke to the commentators, and just recreated the magic of that day.
Then the finals, so that catch by Kapil Dev, just running backwards of Vivian Richards.
Actually, these are just some of the moments that we remember, and these are the moments we remember which happened on the field, but it's actually an unbelievable story of human triumph, and the stories of what was happening behind the scenes are even more exciting. And that's what 83, the magic of 83 is actually that, to tell you the stories of what was happening with this bunch of boys who nobody believed in. Everybody had written them off, and what was driving them to actually go on and ultimately win the World Cup.
Everything, like a Mohinder Amarnath, I think he was a giant. What he did, like even 3 wickets, but those wickets, I think they mattered. Like Balwinder Sandhu, he took the first wicket from Arnstein in the finals.
Yes, in the finals.
And Roger Binney.
Roger Binney, highest wicket taker of the World Cup.
Right, they were Syed Kirmani.
Yeah, everybody.
They were
so
giants.
What is amazing about that story is that everybody chipped in. It's not the story of one person. It's not the story of. Sometimes it's wrongly being reported as a couple biopic. It's the true. It's the story of the team. And I've really never heard a better story of a team. It's really how everybody leaned onto each other and pulled each other up and finally go on to achieve what they did.
And you're having Ranveer Singh, who's at the peak of his game, and the amount of effort that he puts in, whatever he does, He may be
This is
fun
probably
and
his most
games.
challenging physical
Transformation.
transformation. Yeah, I mean, just the getting Kapil's bowling action is going to be a tough one, and he's really working hard at it.
Right, closes the shoulders and
Yeah.
it's something very okay. And the entire paraphernalia that you have as far as 83 is concerned. So when Ravi Shastri says that the current team is maybe the best ever, and then this entire controversy that maybe the team of 83 or even after that. So those guys, they were playing when there were no helmets. The sort of protection was much less. What is your take on this debate that when
I
people
think there's no
compare?
need for comparison. I think there's absolutely no need for comparison. It's a different era that they were playing in. It's a different ethos. You know, the way the teams conducted themselves in '83, the way the teams are today is completely different. And that's actually part of what is going to be in '83. It's going to show you a completely different sporting ethos. There was no money. There was no commercialization. These were just boys playing because they wanted to play for the country and because they enjoyed playing cricket. You know, there were no superstars. They were actually one of the lowest rated teams in the world. They all went on to become superstars post '83. But when they came on to, when they landed on the 1st of June 1983 in London, every single London newspaper was carrying articles about how India should not even be invited to the World Cup. Today, whichever tournament India enters, they're always hot favourites. So it's a different story. That's a classic underdog story.
Classic underdog story, and I think those guys, they played for the love of the game in many ways as well. The amount of money which is there, I think maybe post '95 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
At that point of time, there was hardly
There
any
was
money.
nothing. There was nothing, and that's going to be. I mean, I don't want to reveal
That's for the country.
Stuff, but that's one of the very interesting parts of '83. How these teams and what conditions they were living in, and the complete absence of any financial support.
You're also having Panda, which is
That's a work in
Chinese-
progress. That's
That's a work in
a
progress.
project that we are working with Chinese producers, trying to come up with a story that we feel will be able to entertain the Chinese audiences and the Indian audiences equally. So that's still work in progress. There's work happening on the script.
So 3 years back, we had a conversation, and you said that in China there are 25,000 screens.
55,000 now.
No, 25. At that
Yeah.
point of time, you had said 25,000.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it is double of
Yeah,
that now.
yeah. It's
But
just-
in India, we're not
yeah.
adding on to the screens. That's
That's one of the biggest problems that our industry is facing. I think just the sheer lack of screen space for a country of our size and the population of our size. The fact that we have only about, well, at best you can access about 5,000. But I guess then
Hindi films.
that's what brings us to these platforms like Hotstar. Right now, they are really penetrating deep into you know, the interiors of our country, and that's why shows on Hotstar would be able to really go in and reach audiences that even our screens are not being able to. Right? It's going to come. Yeah, many countries as well. So I think that is why we are seeing this excitement around OTT platforms.
You're the maker of Phantom. You're the maker of Bajrangi Bhaijaan. You're the maker of Ek Tha Tiger.
Yes.
How do you look at all of these films? They have a India-Pakistan connection.
All of them would seem schizophrenic, but that's exactly the relationship we have, right? It's like all kinds of dynamics come into India-Pakistan relationship. What I've always maintained is we always have to figure out that there are two parts of a country. One is the state and one is the people. And as long as we always keep the state and the people apart, I think we'll begin to understand and be able to move forward much better. It's when we start mixing up everything and, you know, a whole country from both sides. It's not just from our side, it's from that side also. I think they see us as one en masse. We tend to see them as one en masse, and we tend to say that everybody is responsible for what they are doing. They hold us responsible for everything that our government is doing. So I think that's the biggest problem between two countries. You have to start seeing the distinction between the common man and the government of the day.
But do you think it's possible?
It is possible. Unfortunately, I think media on both sides are becoming extremely loud and shrill and not at all helping in being able to see the grays. Everything is black and white, and unfortunately, you know, the media is so powerful. And every night, if you're going to see certain perspectives coming out, you know, being screamed out on television sets, it's not going to help. It's just going to keep creating a bigger and bigger divide.
If there's a thought of maybe a film around India-Pakistan, would you think twice?
No, you know, I've always approached my films first for the story. So it's not I never set out to make a film with the backdrop of India and Pakistan. Whether it's Phantom, whether it's Bajrangi, whether it's Ek Tha Tiger, it's a story that first gets me. So if there's a story that comes and excites me today, and it's set against the backdrop of India and Pakistan, I would definitely do it. But I would not retrofit it. I would not pick up a story today only because India and Pakistan are so much in the news today.
Thank you so much, Kabir. As always, lovely talking to you, and looking forward to everything that you're doing.
Thanks a
And
lot.
extremely happy that you put Tube behind, and I love the film.
Yes, I know.
As I think a lot of other people did, and we hope that you continue making amazing stuff that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faridoon.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.
Hi, this is Kabir Khan, and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.